As All Hallows Eve draws closer, an ethereal wind drifts through the veil and across the worlds of Larp, carrying whispers of dark tales and secrets untold from their world to yours. These are LarpTales From Beyond. Now, my aunt used to sit around the fire and tell us stories when we were little orclings. These stories were to serve as warnings that we may not follow into the same mishaps as other orcs before us. Now, this particular story happened when she was out on a scouting looking for some humans that had entered our territory. Lucky for her, or unlucky maybe, she was the one who found these humans this time. She found the humans right here at this spot along the river, and they were talking to this woman who also looked like a human. She had like brown hair and green eyes. Now the woman was laughing, but she seemed to be telling the people something important. So my aunt slipped a little closer to see what they had to say. She couldn't hear much, but from what she did hear, it sounded like they were talking about the water, it being deep, and something within it. The woman seemed to be warning them to stay away from the water. After the humans left, the woman herself waded out into the shallow water. But as she did so, the water turned black, and she just dropped on down into it. And then, as my aunt watched, the water became smooth, even though it should have had ripples or waves in it. Curiosity got the better of my aunt, so she crept forward and peered up and over the riverbank to see what happened. She crept forward. She peered over. As she looked down into the river, all she could see was water. Where the riverbed should have been, the water continued on and on and on and on. Suddenly, as if an invisible hand had pulled at my aunt, she fell into the water face first. The water rushed up, encroaching around her. She felt cold, and it rushed in her ears, overwhelming her senses. Down and down and down she went. When she forced her eyes open to look around, all she could see around her was murky water. She looked down, she looked up and side to side, but still water. She looked around for the woman, and finally, deep below, she spotted her. And they were rushing to meet each other. When she got close enough, the woman looked nothing like she had on land. Now, she had scales for face and skin, and large, green, unblinking eyes. When she opened her mouth, she had several sets of razor-sharp teeth, and she seemed to smile at my aunt. Now the woman, or fish, or whatever she was, for the monstrosity looked like something in between, or neither altogether. The woman came rushing at my aunt, shrieking with the sound of 1,000 wraiths, and my aunt tried to get in a fighting position, but the water hindered her movement, and the woman rushed at her too quickly and grabbed at her. My aunt struggled but couldn't free herself. She tried to cry out, but the water stifled her voice. And all at once, she and the fish woman were rushing up, rushing and rushing, and she couldn't stop, and she couldn't get away. Until finally, my aunt's eyes was assaulted by the bright light of the sun. They had broken through the surface of the water. The monster fish lady deposited my aunt onto the shore, screeched at her a few more times, and then disappeared into the water. My aunt thinks that this was a warning, for the lady was telling her to stay out of her lair, or she would eat her. Fear not, for that was but a tale from my world, Erythia. Just hope that my words were the only thing crossing through the veil from my world to yours. This has been a story on Zedh, the Orcus blog, and as always, for the Horde!